Welcome to IAYTD and welcome to Comic Fights. It's Friday, and today we have probably two of the most powerful beings that we've ever pitted against each other. Aside from the joke Franklin Richards versus Squirrel Girl episode we did for April Fool's Day. So today we have Jean Grey the Dark Phoenix versus White Lantern Kyle Rayner. So here's the scenario. The Dark Phoenix has finally arrived at the DC Universe to cleanse everything. So they're going to unleash that fiery, cosmic wrath upon the DC Universe, and someone has to stop her. So coming to the rescue is Kyle Rayner with the White Lantern ring and the actual power of the Ion entity to help stop the Phoenix. So I'll start by talking about Jean Grey the Phoenix. Even without the Phoenix Force, Jean Grey is considered an Omega-level mutant and one of the, if not the most powerful telepath in the Marvel Universe. So in terms of telepathy, she can control people's bodies, she can erase their memories, she can implant new memories, she can speak to people, she can create illusions, she can make herself appear in places where she's not, she can make herself appear as other people. In terms of offenses, she can either use her telepathy to blast psychic energy towards someone, or she has an immense control over telekinesis, meaning she can control things with her mind, either objects that she can throw or literally picking up people and throwing them. In rare instances, she's also been able to control matter at such a level that she can actually transform what it's made of. So things like turning rocks into water, things like that she's been shown to do, but it is rare. Now, as a vessel for the Phoenix Force, she becomes even stronger. All of these powers are amplified. The Phoenix Force is basically a cosmic entity that is basically made of life itself. It's basically the souls of everyone who has yet to been born. It is immensely powerful, and Jean Grey is the most powerful host for the Phoenix. And why we're specifying Dark Phoenix here, because Dark Phoenix is the most almost out of control, that Jean has no control over what it's doing. It is angry and vicious and hungry for wrath. So additional powers that the Phoenix Force gives Jean, she can travel throughout space, basically without any help. She doesn't need to breathe in outer space or anything. So she can travel. She creates this cosmic fire that is not just fire, but it's this cosmic fire that can burn through anything, and that's what the Phoenix uses to basically cleanse and destroy anything. She also can resurrect the dead, as well as if Jean is killed, basically the Phoenix keeps her soul basically somewhere and can choose to resurrect her when it wants to. So there's a place called the White Hot Room where it kind of keeps her and it is able to then resurrect Jean basically whenever it wants. There is much more that the Phoenix can do and that it's been shown to do, but over the course of all of Marvel Comics, I truncated it down to that little bit. But if there's other things you think the Phoenix can do or Jean Grey can do, let me know in the comments if you think it pertains to this battle. Now let's hop over and talk about Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner is one of the most, if not the most powerful Green Lantern. And as a Green Lantern, you basically are allowed to construct energy. You harness this light, and it's based on, as a Green Lantern, it's based on willpower. And so he is one of the strongest willed Green Lanterns, meaning his constructs are more powerful. They're able to travel through space, they can fly, they can create force fields out of their light. But Kyle Rayner is special in that he's not only mastered willpower, but he's mastered the other emotions as well. And so he is able to basically bring them together and become something called the White Lantern. And this is someone that is able to tap into all of those. So the White Lantern can create constructs made out of will, but it can also do things like Red Lanterns can spew this fire out of their body. So he can do that. Blue Lanterns can heal people, and they're very curative. He can do that. So he is able to master all of these emotions at once instead of just one. Now, Kyle Rayner is also special in that he accomplished something that no one else has really done. And now I'm not super familiar with the story, but in a nutshell, there's something called the life equation, which is basically some sort of formula or some way that if someone understands it, they understand why life is important and why it's worth living. There is an anti-life equation that Darkseid is obsessed with, and people look for that as a way to basically destroy existence. But the life equation, Kyle Rayner has seen and has basically embodied. So he understands life and why it's important. And this is key because the White Lanterns, instead of tapping into those individual emotions, they tap into life itself. So knowing the life equation makes him an immensely powerful White Lantern. Now, when this happened, he realized how powerful that was, such a combination. So he actually broke the rings up and said, only in times of peril will these rings come together and allow someone to harness that much power. But in this instance, the Dark Phoenix coming to cleanse the DC universe, yes, they would come together and Kyle Rayner would have absolute control over the White Lantern ring. He has also done something involving what is called the Source Wall, which is basically a wall that separates kind of dimensions, and he is able to rewrite reality. Like, not many people have made it there, and if they make it there, they get stuck there. But he is able to go there and alter the reality that he's in, and then escape essentially unharmed. It's a long, convoluted story, but he makes it back. If I got something super wrong about the life equation or about the source wall, I'm not super familiar with those, so let me know if I messed up something or if I'm missing something vital to this battle. Other White Lantern powers, I mean, it allows them to do everything that all the different colors can do, as well as bring people back to life and have an absolute, basically, domination over the dead. Now, even being this powerful, the White Lantern might not have a chance against Phoenix, because Phoenix travels through all the different universes. Like, the Phoenix Force as a cosmic entity could just erase the White Lantern in theory. So to make Kyle more powerful, he's going to resort back to something that he once embodied called the ion entity. And basically each emotion has an entity, a being made of that energy that can supplement their powers. And so for the Green Lanterns, it is Ion. And when Ion embodies this person, they become almost like a symbiote. Ion embodies them, they become kind of an amped up version of a Green Lantern that is basically able to zoom out, see across dimensions, control reality to an extent, control time, as well as basically having an infinite amount of willpower, because the being is made of willpower, that all of the things that a Green Lantern can do become, they go from 10 to 100. So the Ion entity, giving Kyle that power, gives him a fighting chance. The Ion entity also gives him a superb amount of psychic abilities and shielding that can slow down Jean Grey's incredible telepathy. Now, something that's never been explored is what happens if one of these entities embodies the White Lantern, because White Lantern has all the colors, which includes the colors that could be potentially damaging or negating to a Green Lantern. So I'm not sure how that'll work if the entity tries to bond with the White Lantern. I don't believe it's ever happened, so we can also theorize on if that's even possible, and if not, it'd probably be more beneficial for Kyle to embody the Ion entity than the White Lantern. I don't know. We can debate that. So what do you think would happen? Phoenix shows up, is going to destroy the DC universe. Kyle Rayner has to decide, do I use the White Lantern? Do I use Ion? Do I use both? What can Kyle Rayner tap into to stop Phoenix from destroying everything that he knows and loves? So what do you think would happen? Is the DC universe done for? Or is Kyle able to succeed? Give me examples. There's a lot of things that these people have done over the course of all of comic books. So give me examples, tell me what you think would happen, cite your sources, and next week we will shout out the most creative or best answer. Now let's look at last week's fight where we had Cassandra Cain versus X-23. Cassandra Cain is an incredible martial artist, She has what it takes to defeat a normal person like X-23, but X-23, with the adamantium and the healing factor, even someone that could just dominate her in terms of martial arts, I don't know if they would be able to take her out. So here's some thoughts by Sam Murphy. I think X-23 takes it. Being from DC, Cain has no clue what adamantium is, and therefore wouldn't know how to use special bullets or its liquid form to incapacitate the clone. This, in combination with the healing factor, would really tip the fight in favor of X-23. I really can't see a way that even Cain could defeat her. Their agility and martial arts are near equal, so it's really down to endurance. X-23 takes the win. Now, I pushed back because I don't like arguments like this that rely on the characters not knowing something because they're from different universes. We're assuming that they're together and they're knowledgeable. So for example, in my Batman Black Panther video, some people were like, well, vibranium doesn't exist, so Batman would clearly win. I don't like that. So here I pushed back at Sam. If we assumed Cain knew about adamantium, do you think the verdict would change? Now Sam's response cuts off at the bottom just a few words, so here's what he says. Perhaps I was a little unfair in that regard, but to be honest, I still think X-23 would win. Her healing factor rivals Wolverine, so on those grounds, I think it's only a matter of time before Cain suffers from exhaustion and falls victim. In addition, I'm pretty sure one cannot block the adamantium claws without risking serious harm. So thanks, Sam, and with that, we're giving the victory to X-23. And we'll see you next week for another Comic Fights.